been missed, as I know you guys have missed me. So thank you for joining. If you are interested in booking with me, I am over at blackspectrumnetwork.com. You can go to blackspectrumnetwork.com/Soleil, SOLE. If you want to leave a love offering, just go ahead and do so at either the PayPal or the Cash App that's circulating below. Let's get into this Tom Brady and Gisele situation. So the very first thing, I'm only going to ask 2 questions. I only have 2. If you guys come up with a third or a fourth about them, I'm happy to ask it. But the first question I have is why? Why are they divorcing right now? We've seen the public speculation, but I want to know what the cards have to say. I want to know what Spirit is going to tell us. Tori, I'm nosy. Who worked with her? Let me know who it is that just did a remix with her. Ancestors, angels, and master spirits. Ancestors, what can you tell us about Tom Brady and Gisele Bündchen's divorce? What led them to end things after their, 15 years of marriage? You can see, feel, or hear anything from either of their ancestors. Any wisdom that you can share with us at this time is greatly appreciated. Yeah, they're getting a divorce, girl. They're getting a divorce, and honey, he looks haggard. Now that she's not doing work over him, whatever spiritual stuff she was doing over him, whatever juju she was feeding into him, it done took 15 years off of his life now that she done stopped. He looks old. That man has aged overnight. They just did. Well, Puffy works with a lot of people that he don't respect, baby. He does. But Puffy is a tyrant. Or how, you know what, allegedly Puffy has, because I respect him professionally, I do. But Puffy has a reputation for being a tyrant. Puffy has a really big ego, and he has a tendency to only want to see people win if he's attached to it. Allegedly, rumor has it. Okay. Ooh. Verify this 8 of Swords. Verify this 6 of Wands for me. In the first row, we have the 6 of Swords in reverse, the 8 of Swords clarified by the 10 of Baskets and the Justice card. Now, Scorpio man, that explains why he's cutthroat in business, though. Y'all want to know is Gisele really spirit? Okay. I'm happy to pull on it, Whitney, but I already know the answer is yes. I've read on that before with my students. She does a lot of spiritual work on him. That's why he looked crazy as hell now that they're divorcing, because you can see that somebody stopped praying over him. Whatever light was being poured into him, you can see that shit stopped. But 6 of Swords is a card that's about, okay, you have to move into a new future, right? When it's upright, it's moving forward into a future that is uncertain, but that you know is better than what you're leaving behind. Now, with this being in reverse, it represents somebody who's fighting an inevitable change. So he has been fighting the fact that he's almost 50, and at almost 50, you should not be playing football, right? He's fighting his elevation and what he needs to do to move forward. A lot of that has to do with fear, right? What do I always say about the 8 of Swords? It's projecting your fears into reality and creating your own shitty environment, your own shitty reality. You literally manifest your fears by allowing your fears to run you, right? So his fear is being forgotten, being seen as a hack, being seen as a has-been. And instead of him, bowing out gracefully, he's letting his fears run rampant and create his fears into reality. And the cost of that is that he's lost his family. He lost his family. He chose his ego and his work over his family. And when you choose ego and work over your family, the results you get, the karmic results you get, the justice that comes from that situation is that, you lose your family. So the whole first row is talking about how his refusal to elevate, his refusal to move forward into a new future, his insistence on staying stuck in one identity and operating from a fear, right? A fear that makes it hard for him to transform, to recreate himself, has caused him to lose his family. But this has been another thing about the Justice card, is that it's a long time in the making. This is karma, right? People forget that the Justice card is about karma. So he's been doing this for years. The majority of their marriage has been him putting career before the family. That's why he's finally lost the family, right? Brady is gonna break a hip. Yes, he is. He gonna fuck his knee up. Papa is going to fuck his knee up if he does not sit down. In the bottom row, we have the Ace of Swords, the World card, the Six of Wands, and the Ace of Wands. See, here's the thing. Y'all can play with Gisele and be like she's a retired supermodel all you want to, but supermodel is still in that. Whether she's retired or not, whether she's older in age or not. There's way too many men across this world, billionaires, that will be more than happy to snatch her up, right? She's grieving the loss of this marriage, but she's also due a shift in perspective, a shift in insight. And once she has that shift in perspective, she's going to be able to move away from this and walk away and actually reinvent herself very easily. So even though this is painful for her, it's also causing her to understand that she was actually the locus. She was actually the nucleus of this marriage. She was actually the prize, right? I think she was so invested in pouring into him and doing magic on him and making sure that he had his wins, that it's now taking this divorce for her to be like, hold on, I'm Gisele motherfucking Bundchen, right? And so again, she's having a shift in her perspective that is going to open up a new world for her, in which she's actually, honestly, I give it 5 years. I give it 5 years, and that's being very generous. Gisele is going to remarry, and her new husband is going to be obsessed with her. Look at how this man is looking at this woman. That's the new love. That's the new world that's coming to her, right? And she's going to be the winner in this situation. She's going to be the person that has public favor, right? Six of Wands is about hitting milestones and getting a lot of praise from your peers, a lot of accolades from your peers. So she's going to end up being the victor in this situation. I know some people are like, well, it's just a divorce. Why are you using war? No, fuck that. A separation, a breaking down of business involves warlike strategy. And if you think a marriage is not a business, you're fucking wrong, right? So at the end of all this, she's going to be the one who has public favor, right? And that's going to cause her, we're going to see a reinvention of her. We're going to see more of her in the public eye. She's been out of the public eye again because she's been playing this wife role very purposely. But she's going to have a reinvention that allows her to have a lot of public attention and be back in her fame is going to rise again. That's the easiest way that I can say it. Couture Goddess, Couture Red, Couture the Goddess. Couture the Goddess says the term supermodel holds weight. Even Naomi Campbell is still booking gigs. She will do great. Can you imagine? I can't even get the words out. Can you imagine a Gucci fashion show with fucking Gisele Bundchen and Naomi Campbell walking down the runway, just cheekbones fucking galore, like looking like they haven't aged a day in their lives? Do you think that Gisele was not getting work because she didn't want the work or because she just fell out of favor? I'm pretty sure it was the first one. So yeah, she's going to do fine. She's going to be booked and busy. She's going to be courted heavily. She's going to be fine. So a couple of you guys want to know about the spell work, about her being a witch, about the impact of her spirituality on this divorce. So let's ask that. Legendary. I live. And I don't live for a whole lot of white women, but I live for Gisele, and I can't wait to see it. Let's see. What can you tell us, Spirit, about Gisele's spiritual practices? How did those spiritual practices strengthen or even negatively impact that marriage? And what kind of workings was she doing over her husband, over her family, over her children? If you can see, feel, or hear their elevated ancestors, please let me know what information they have. Three of Pentacles jumped out. Family as a business. Y'all said she's a Libra, right? What's Gisele Bündchen's astrology? Because she's either a Leo or a Libra. Three of Pentacles jumped out. Three of Pentacles is one of my favorite cards. I love this card. I often say that it represents me and my two best friends because it does. And this is teamwork and collaboration. I call it the card of getting money with friends or getting money with family. So yes, she did a lot of spiritual work over her family. And it was specifically to make sure that they were profitable, that they were in union, in unison, and very abundant. So yeah, she did a lot of spiritual work over her people. Ace of Pentacles, making sure that money was always flowing in. Making sure that money was always flowing in. That there were always new opportunities to have just wealth pouring into that family. So yes, that was her primary concern. She also did a lot of protection work. I love it, money and protection. So that's all we need to be focused on. When we focus on that, everything else falls in alignment. But she did a lot of protection work over her family. She knew that her and her husband were blessed and they were in the public eye. She's a Cancer. See, that even makes more sense. That Cancerian energy, all about the family, all about the protection, all about the home. That makes a lot of sense. But the Seven of Wands, a lot of protection work. Like she knew that the eyes of haters, the eyes of the envious were not only on her, but on her husband, and that together they were a specific kind of power couple. So yes, she consistently did work over her marriage, over her family, just to make sure that they were protected and that that the envious could never take their opportunities from them. That's another part of the reason why he was always so successful. She saw, now this is fascinating. For her, and I don't know if she would call herself a priestess, but being a practitioner of magic, being a practitioner of spiritual discipline and alchemy was rooted in her motherhood. For her, it's like, well, I'm not a proper mother if I'm not doing these workings over my family, if I'm not making these potions, if I'm not putting, these waters over my children, if I'm not blessing my husband before he has to go out and, butt heads with fucking big 300-pound ass men. So for her, it was very much, this is part of what I do as a wife and a mother, right? We have to remember Queen of Cups energy is deeply emotionally and psychically in tuned, right? And I love this representation of her because it's almost like she's, putting a spell over her own cup. So for her, it's like, yeah, I have to be doing this work because that's my role as a mother, right? I very much think about it in the Haitian tradition or in the Vodou tradition where we call our priestesses, mama. We call our priests papa, right? Because they are the spiritual mother and the spiritual father. So for her, I'm doing this. This is mothering. Like, what's wrong with you? You don't do these things for your family? Like, so I actually really love that energy. In the bottom row, we have the Page of Cups, the Four Swords, and the Page of Swords. I'll say this. For the last 13 or 15 or how many ever years they've been married, she's been used to doing her magic from this perspective. She now finds herself in this position, which is youthful, naive, but also deeply curious, right? So she's learning to do new forms of magic. She is actively disrupting someone's peace. I'm not going to say who the person's peace is, but she's disrupting their peace. She's making sure that they feel the weight of their inability to sit the fuck down and rest. She's making them understand the gravity of their decisions, absolutely. And she is also making sure that their words come back to harm them. In the process of this divorce, someone and I'm not going to say who they are, I'm just going to say that they are a male and blonde, has said some slick shit, and they have tried really hard to use the pen, to use contracts to check her, for lack of better words. If you know a Page of Swords energy, yes, they're youthful, yes, they're young, all the pages are young and naive, but the Page of Swords is the honor student. And the Page of Swords is also very vicious when they feel attacked or when they feel slighted. So when you have this Page of Cups energy and this Page of Swords energy, yes, it's childlike, but it's not weak, right? So she's learning, what does it look like to release my magic off of this person, and to, rather than, now that they are somebody that I have to be protected from, for lack of better words. So she's learning new aspects of her walk as a spiritual practitioner, right? And what it means to, I'll say it this way. This is somebody who has gone from being her partner to being a potential complication. So she's figuring out what it looks like to use her magic to, I will say, hold him accountable without hurting him. Because they do share blood, they share children, they share blood at this point. But he's about to learn consequence in ways that he didn't understand. I think, and what I'm getting, especially from the candle flame, is that this is a man who, like a lot of men who, and this is why more men need to invest in their spiritual education. This is why more men need to join Black Spectrum Network. This is why more men need to learn about ancestral worship. You can't get into a relationship with women and have them do all the spiritual heavy lifting in the relationship. Because what happens when the relationship ends? You end up walking around like Mr. Brady, looking like you aged 15 years and 4 months. Because all that light that was being poured into you, all that work that's being poured into you, stops when the relationship stops. And I'm not going to go too far into it because, again, this is not a lecture. I'm here for reading. That's going to be another conversation we have later. But this is why you can't be in a relationship where only one person is doing the spiritual heavy lifting. He's about to understand the full consequences. I think he downplayed severely the efficacy of her magic. And now that he's not going to have it in his life, not only is he not going to have it in his life, but he's going to feel the weight of her protection. I think it's gonna, child, this is about to be delicious. This is about to be fun to watch. Thank you all. Until next time, it will be a lot shorter than 3 months. Can't say when you'll see me next, but you guys will see me soon. Thank you for joining. Please take care. And until next time, bye. So fuel my fire, take me higher, I'll be your light.